What? No way. Look at this pile, dude. You got this one. There's this one. Then there's this one here. And there's another one still sealed. Wow, look at all these. No way, dude. Check this out. And look at this, too. You got the tag. What? No way. Are you serious right now? Whoa, there's no way this Beanie Baby can be worth that much. Oh my gosh, I have both of these. What's up, guys? In today's video, we're going to talk about a topic that has been getting a lot of attention here lately. As you know, I have a resale shop. People come in and they look for different items. They donate a bunch of different items to the shop. You know, I get all kinds of things coming in. And also, I'm always on the lookout for things that are currently selling, things that a lot of people are looking for. And for some reason or another, whatever the reason is, one of the most talked about items here lately has been Beanie Babies. Yeah, that's right, Beanie Babies, those little tiny plush toys that were really popular back in the 90s. It seems like when you go to estate sales, garage sales, thrift stores, flea markets, wherever it is, resale shops, somehow or another, these things seem to pop up. When you go online, if you start looking at prices, you're going to see that some of them are priced really low, and they sell for like a few bucks, and then you find ones that are priced in the thousands of dollar range, and you can't really tell the difference between the two. It's like, how do I know if I'm sitting on a gold mine? You've probably talked to friends of yours that try and tell you, oh, these are super valuable, you know, don't get rid of this one, keep this one in the original package, it has the original tag. Oh my gosh, you know, I had one that was worth $50,000. And there's some truth to that. But what we're going to talk about today is what makes one valuable, what is it that makes them rare, is there really any truth to all this hype about them being worth a lot of money, and what should you look out for as a reseller? What do I look out for, not just with Beanie Babies, but toys in general, like any kind of plush, any kind of item, you know, that I might be considering to sell in my eBay store or my resale shop, just to make sure that I'm getting bang for my buck. I'm going to be potentially making some profit off of these items I'm trying to sell. A lot of people still have the impression that they're super collectible. Because of the mass quantities that were produced, they're not as collectible as they used to be, especially after a lot of them were discontinued and they're harder to find nowadays. If you are looking for ones that are valuable or collectible, it's usually going to be the ones that are in very limited quantities, that are still in circulation, the ones that are extremely rare, just as with any other item or any other toy, the ones that have errors. You know, if you think of things like sports trading cards and other like football, baseball, basketball, usually the ones that are the most valuable are either the ones that are autographed by the player or the ones that contain errors. Either the date of birth was wrong, there was a misspelling with the name, there was a misspelling with the team name, or maybe it had the position of that the player was on the team is incorrect. So different things that actually make it to where it's even more rare than the actual card itself. Beanie Babies are no exception to this. If you're looking for the ones that are top value, it's going to be the ones that were probably an original generation, like an original version of the Beanie Baby. It has to have, you know, errors on the tag, you know, some type of misprint or something that is uncommon, and it should be one that's rare, that was not mass-produced, it was produced in limited quantities, and not widely in circulation. Why don't you check this out? This really surprised me, actually. So I did a search on eBay to find Beanie Babies that recently sold and the most expensive ones, and to be honest with you, I could not believe what I saw. I couldn't believe what I found. It's hard to tell by these because they were best offers that were accepted, but if we scroll down a little farther, we'll see the most expensive one that sold for a firm price. This one actually was a best offer still, but it sold for $14,500. I could not imagine spending $14,000 on a 6-inch stuffed animal, a small little plush, just because it was super rare. But then again, I'm sure people have spent money on crazier things. This Jake the Mallard Beanie Baby sold for $13,000. Then we have this one goes all the way down to $800 because that was an auction. But look at that shipping price, $12,000 shipping. I don't know how that person sleeps at night. This next one, again, more offers, $12,000 for the Princess die. Now, these are actually extremely rare. You know, the Iggy, the iguana, the Princess die bear, these are actually rare ones that are hardly found. They're not in circulation. They're not widely circulated. So, like the Iggy the iguana, probably has some errors, but for the most part, yeah, these are rare, but I just could not imagine, I did not realize that they sell for this high. Hope the praying bear sold for 10,000. Oh, free shipping. I guess when you spend 10,000 on something, the least they could do is give you free shipping for something that probably cost them $10 to ship, right? I mean, I'm sure it was probably insured. Maybe they flew to the buyer's location because they didn't want to risk it getting lost in the mail, which I've heard of people doing, actually. It gets kind of crazy when you talk about items that are $10,000 and above, because people are so worried about something happening. I just couldn't imagine selling something for $9,000 and then dropping it in a post office, in a mailbox somewhere. Just, I could not even imagine. So apparently some of these do sell for really high amounts. The reality with the bear that I had, however, is yes, while most things do have exceptions to the rule that sell on the most expensive side, there are also the most common ones. If we sort by lowest price, this is the real picture that you can expect. $5. So it's really hard to believe that somebody would have actually spent over 14 grand on a Beanie Baby. But I guess when you have that kind of money, there's a lot worse things that it can be spent on, and there's a lot of probably crazier things that their money is spent on. It kind of makes me want to start looking on eBay to see like what kinds of things are selling for crazy money, because I guess for everything out there, there's probably some kind of collector that's looking to find the perfect item, the rarest item. Maybe this item was owned by a celebrity. They got it at a concert where the performer, their sweat was dripping on it, and so it's worth like $1 million. You never know what something is worth to someone because it's only worth what someone's willing to pay for it. I can list things on eBay all day long for $1,000, $10,000, but if people are not paying that for it, then it's really not worth that amount. That's what you have to be careful of as a reseller. When you're listing things, make sure that you're asking a realistic amount. Make sure you've done your homework, you've checked sold items, because listed items are not really a good indicator of how much something is worth. Sold items, however, are actually a true indicator because they're showing you what things have actually sold for in the real world, and things that sold and what people have actually paid for them. I did see some Beanie Babies on eBay that were higher than that 14,500 mark, but they were best offers, so it was really hard to tell how much they actually sold for. It could have been close to the listed amounts. I saw some for 15,000, some even higher in the 20,000 and plus range. It's really hard to speak on those. They may have sold close to those amounts, maybe not. So I was visiting with a friend of mine today, and she had asked me if I looked through my Beanie Babies that I had. And I hadn't really paid too much attention, I hadn't really looked at them. There were some in there that were actually a little more valuable than I thought. It was just not the ones that we expected, or the ones that I was thinking would be valuable. So I learned a little something about this, actually, which is very interesting. I always love learning new things. I feel like no matter how long you've been in the game, how long you've been doing this, it's never too long to actually learn new things, and I think if you're receptive to that, then you'll be a lot more successful. Okay, so this pile you're looking at is just a bunch of different Beanie Babies. I found some other interesting ones in my boxes here, and so what happened is, when my friends Sam and Heather came to the resale shop today, they saw that I had this bin full of Beanie Babies, and they're like, no, don't just sell those for $2 each. You should really go through those and see if any of them are worth anything. So this way, if they are, you can sell them and get a little more. And I'm like, oh, y'all are crazy. None of them are worth anything. So we started noticing that some of them looked different. And by different, I mean, here's an example. This duck one, Georgette, the duck, immediately I noticed something different that made it unique, is that it's jointed. The wings are posable, and the legs are posable, so you can change position. And I've never seen that on a Beanie Baby before. So I started doing research on this one, and actually it looks like the comps show around $5 plus shipping. So I thought that was pretty cool. for something that I have absolutely no money invested in. Prince the Frog, and they're all in really good condition. If you look at this, like almost brand new condition on these. Oh, the tag is a little bent, but hopefully that's okay. So this one, actually, when I checked, I found one comp for $10. That was free shipping, so still probably about $5 profit, which is not bad, again, considering that these were donated for my resale shop. I have a whole box of, 2 boxes actually, of these special jointed ones, the Attic Collection, Collector's Edition. Actually, this one here, Sarah the Rabbit, is pretty cool. It still has the tags, and what tipped them off was the fact that these tags actually look different than the ones you normally see on the beanies. Normally they have the red and white tag. This one has a little fancier looking tag, and it says collectible. So when I looked at comps for Sarah here, I found actually ones that were like 16 free shipping, like in the $10 range or so with shipping, $15 with shipping, that a lot of them sold for. So actually, this one is a little more on the slightly higher price range. The original person had this $30. I'm not seeing that, but if I can get $10 to $15 for this one, then I've done pretty well. Am I looking to find like a $10,000 beanie here? Probably not, but with the volume I have, I could probably sell the higher price ones for $5 to $10 a piece, bundle the rest of them together to maybe make another like 20 to 30 bucks. All in all, if I can get like 50, 60 bucks for these minimum, maybe closer to 100 bucks, then that's not bad for something that I was just tossing in the dollar bin at my resale shop and wasn't even going to give a second thought. So thank you, Samantha and Heather, for your advice on looking up some values on these. When it comes to values of these, so unfortunately to burst people's bubble, there may be some errors and different things that make these valuable, but for the most part, there's nothing that's going to make this particular bear worth thousands of dollars. It might be worth maybe a few dollars more, but on average, if you look at the solds on eBay, it's only going to be worth about $5 to $10. Again, something is only worth as much as someone's willing to pay for it, as we found out with not just Beanie Babies, but also pretty much any other item that you can sell on eBay. The best way to find the values of these items is to look at sold listings on eBay. Why? For the same reason we do it for any other item, and it's a best practice for resellers when you're purchasing items to resell on eBay. The true indicator, and I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, the true indicator of something's value and something's worth is how much people are willing to pay for it. You can have something and I can say this is worth $10,000, but if no one in the world is going to pay $10,000 for it, then guess what? It's not worth $10,000. It's going to sit there listed for the next 6 months, next year, and in the meantime, these other ones priced at $5, $10, $12 are going to be selling all day long. Now, that's not to say that ones have not sold for that amount. It's just extremely rare, and unfortunately, I hate to say this because I don't want to paint anyone in a negative light. There's always a sucker born every minute, is the old saying that I was told. You might get lucky and sell one of these for $5,000, $1,000 to some poor unsuspecting person who really doesn't know any better. But at the end of the day, is that going to make you feel better about having your resale business? It might make you feel better in the short term because you got one over on someone and got way more money for something than you should have, for the poor person that doesn't realize that it really wasn't worth that amount. But that's really not the kind of business we want to run. We want something where things are going to be selling regularly for the amounts that they should be selling for, because then that means that you have something that's sustainable and something that's going to last. You've armed yourself with the knowledge of the things that are truly valuable instead of just those flukes, those one-time miracles where you found something, sold it for way more than what it should have sold for, and there's no way of replicating that experience. I've actually found plushes at Goodwill that were limited edition, that were special edition. I paid maybe $5 for them, and they sold for $100, $200. But that's because that's what people were actually paying, and I knew that when I bought it because I had researched sold comps. I had looked at completed listings to find out what they were actually selling for, and I knew I was making an educated decision when I decided to buy the item. I hope this video helped someone today and had some information that was useful to anyone. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe and drop the comments down below. And otherwise, till next time, keep it fun, keep it real, and catch you on the next one. Peace.